everybody. Trey here after a very long hiatus. So pray everybody is still doing well in the Facebook group and those who follow on YouTube. Yeah, it's been a couple of months. I found it challenging to keep up with all that I was doing. A job and 2 part-time jobs, the work of the ministry and a teenager. It can get difficult to stay afloat, but through it all, God has been faithful and God has allowed me to endure. But I do thank everybody for your support. What was interesting is that I could still notice on Facebook several people still asking to join the group, and even on YouTube several subscribers each month, which lets us know there's still a need for piano instruction, and most importantly instruction that is really catered to people who have a real heart for God and want to do it the right way. So I wanted to share with you all tonight actually something that I'd shared at a service I preached at a few weeks ago. It was a choir anniversary, but the format was different because we're typically used to the service having a ton of choirs show up and sing and have some MC trying to keep the service alive after about the 10th group and everybody's ready to go home. But this format was different. It was just one guest group and the home choir sung a few selections, but the pastor had asked me to preach, so it was a little different. I'm wondering, okay, preach at a choir anniversary. So I just decided to take a different approach, more of a teaching style with live application, dealing with music ministry. So I'm not going to get into the meat of that message, but during the message I gave some practical applications, like some actual playing applications. And I was teaching how music can really affect the spiritual element in the room, meaning that minstrel or that person sitting behind the instrument has the quote-unquote power to drive people's emotions, even without lyrics. We understand that lyrics are important, but it's just a proven fact that music itself can sway how you feel. And music will stick with you. That's why some of the biggest companies, they understand that they can sell their product and get it to stick with you better if it's put on top of a rhythm, a beat, or a melody. Case in point here. Now, who in the world doesn't know what that jingle is, okay? So in a church context, there are some things that a lot of musicians do. I don't know if they do it with the understanding or if they're just copying somebody else, but there are some things that you can do to flow within a service as is applicable. And also there are some things that you can do to take away from the flow of the service. So it's those of you who are in church leadership who are over choirs, you better be very careful who you are allowing to minister to God's people, because the wrong spirit will destroy the move that God's trying to do in that service, and that spirit can permeate those in the hearing. So one application, there's a hymn that says, "How great thou art." What's the words? I see the stars, I hear the roaring thunder. Thy power throughout the universe displayed. So this is something that kind of imitates that roaring thunder. And what you're really thinking about here is just the hugeness, the massiveness, the glory, the power of God. So typically at the end of a song, we would just stay, I'm in the key of D flat, we would just stay on the 1, and you would just build up that roaring thunder. But this is playing expressively and dynamically. very simple here, but it's all about technique here. So you're kind of doing like an up and down motion, one hand after the other. So in the left hand, I started to build up on the 1 and the 5, so D flat and A flat. And then your right hand, D flat major chord, minus the 5. So you have B flat F and D flat. I'm a little slow tonight, it's been a long time since I've done a tutorial. Okay, so basically a D flat major chord, okay? D flat and A flat, D flat F, and D flat on top. And it's just this motion here, okay? Moving on. So hang on to the D flat on your bottom. Move to the C, and that gives it a bit of dissonance, a little bit of character. Right hand, you hold on to your octaves, A flat in the middle, okay? Same principle. Sounds a little weird, but it works, trust me. Okay, and then moving on. All we do in the right hand is move from the A flat to the G flat. In the left hand, we still have the D flat on the bottom and B flat on top. Okay, got that? That's all it is. Okay, so what you're doing, you build up the speed and the volume gradually. Alright, so the next application would be sort of a pronouncement. It's like, okay, we're now announcing that God is here. And you also hear this like in a wedding bridal march. They do something like that. Okay, kind of that build up. But staying within the key of D flat. I know you've often heard something like this at the end of songs. Okay, sort of the same movement as the first application, but we're taking that minor, going to like a minor sound, okay? And we're going to deal with that minor here in a minute. Okay, so simply, just octaves on the 5, the A flat, to the D flat, both hands. Okay, real big. Like in the first application, we have the D flat octaves with A flat in the middle. But instead of going to the C, we want the B or the C flat to be technical. Okay? Down to the A. Same thing, we drop the middle to the G flat. Back to the 5. Ba, 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 ba. Excuse me. All right. Excuse me, I'm struggling a little bit. My chops have gotten a little sloppy here. All right, last application. We're going to move to the minor in D flat. Now this sound here is very tricky, and you have to be careful what you're doing, because the sound, it can evoke sadness or bereavement, grief, or it also can put you in a mindset of just deep meditation and worship. So again, it really depends on who's doing the playing and what the intent of the heart is. Because the wrong person will come into a service, they just in a bad mood, they just, all busted up and disgusted and want everybody else to feel bad. So you taking everybody to pity party when it's time to glorify God, okay? It's not what you want. Okay? So this is what that sounds like, that minor sound. So let's say our application is just a deep meditation, time to worship God. All the high praise has simmered down, and now we're just in a place where we're reverencing and worshiping God. All right, so see how much time I have left here. Basically 3 chords here, and of course we're doing the open voicings. If you follow this channel or the group, you learn what the open voicing is. And doing arpeggios, okay? So the chords are B flat minor, the A flat major, G flat major, okay? So I don't think this high register is in the shot, so I'm going to bring it down here. Okay, so we do the open voicing in the left hand. We're going to arpeggiate it. So it's basically a B minor chord open, B flat F, and D flat, okay? And we walk into a B flat minor. So B flat C, F, and D flat. Okay? Single note F. See how I want to play this? Yeah, we're going to keep it here. So the open voicing that we're going to arpeggiate in the left hand is A flat, E flat, and C. Okay? A flat major. So we have the open F to the A flat major on top, which is A flat and E flat. See that? And if that's too much of a stretch, you can just do the A flat to the E flat to the A flat. Okay? From the beginning. Okay? So left hand, G flat, D flat, and B flat on top. G flat open voicing. Okay? Right hand, lead in with the E flat, and then to the G flat major, minus the 3. So that's G flat and D flat. And that's it. I mean, I just added expression to it. Just play dynamically, but that's all it takes. You don't need a whole lot to make a big statement. Remember, when people are in worship, it's not about necessarily what you're playing. It's about the intent in the moment, okay?